something huge is happening right now in how we think about getting older. And I mean, this isn't science fiction, it's not some far off future. We are talking about the new science of hacking your own biological clock. And believe me, it is changing absolutely everything. For the longest time, medicine was all about one thing: lifespan. Just adding more years to your life, that was the goal. But now, the entire paradigm is shifting. We're now focused on health span. And that's all about adding healthy, vibrant, awesome life to those years. It seems like a small change in wording, right? But it represents a complete revolution in how we approach health. So, how do we even measure something like that? Well, it all starts with understanding a crucial difference. There's your chronological age, the number of candles on your birthday cake. And then there's your biological age. And this is the number that truly matters. It's a direct measure of how well your body is actually functioning on the inside, no matter what your birth certificate says. And that idea, it leads us straight to our first big concept here: the end of old age as we've always known it. We're going to dig into why that number on your driver's license, it's becoming a pretty outdated way to think about your health. This quote just hits the nail on the head. It gets to the very heart of the problem with that old lifespan-only model. See, we got so good at delaying death that we kind of accidentally created what one expert calls a twilight zone. Years, sometimes even decades, spent living with chronic disease and frailty. Sure, it's a long life, but what kind of life is it really? Well, the modern answer to that question is a whole new field called geroscience, and its approach is a total game changer. It basically says, look, treating cancer, then heart disease, then Alzheimer's, one by one, that's just not efficient. Geroscience asks a much bigger, much smarter question. What if we could target the aging process itself? And by doing that, what if we could delay or even prevent all of these diseases at the same time? To even begin to do that, we need to go a little deeper, right down to the hidden instructions running inside every single one of our cells. This brings us to this incredible idea of your body's hidden software and the critical difference between the genes you're born with and the code that actually tells them what to do. Okay, probably the best way to wrap your head around this is with a simple hardware and software analogy. Think of your DNA, your genes. That's your computer's hardware. It's fixed. It's what you get when you're born. But your epigenetics, that's the software. That's the programming that tells your DNA hardware which programs to run, which genes to turn on or off. And here's the most important part: you can't change your hardware, but you absolutely can update your software. So how is the software actually written? It happens through a process called DNA methylation, which is way simpler than it sounds. So, step 1, your lifestyle choices: what you eat, how much you sleep, your stress levels, they act as the programmers writing the code. Step 2, based on those instructions, a tiny little chemical tag gets attached to a gene. And step 3, that tag acts like a dimmer switch, turning that gene's expression up or down, on or off. It's that direct. You are literally programming your own body every single day. But here's the thing. Over time, just like any piece of software, this code can start to get buggy. It can develop glitches. Bad programming from, say, poor lifestyle choices can accumulate. And this process is called epigenetic drift, and it's one of the key drivers of what we call biological aging. But what if we could actually read that code? What if we could see the glitches in our own programming and do something about them? Well, that's exactly what these incredible new tools are letting us do, which brings us to the science of decoding your inner clock. The really big breakthrough happened back in 2013 with something called the Horvath clock. It was the first reliable way to measure biological age using these epigenetic tags. But the pace of innovation since then has been just unbelievable. A little over a decade later, we've already jumped to what we're calling third-generation clocks, and they are exponentially more powerful. And today's clocks are super specialized. You've got PhenoAge, which pulls in clinical data like your blood sugar. You have the ominously named GrimAge, which is basically the gold standard for predicting mortality. And then there's one called Dunedin Pace, which is really cool. It acts like a speedometer for your body, telling you exactly how fast you're aging right now. So if we can measure our aging with this kind of incredible precision, it naturally leads to the most exciting, most provocative question of all. Can we actually reverse time? Is our biological age, is it plastic? I mean, really think about that for a second. We all know the number on our driver's license only goes in one direction, right? Up. But is the same true for our biological age? Is it permanently set in stone? 1.5 years. Just take a look at that number. What if I told you that isn't some theoretical goal or a hope for the future, but a real documented result? That number, a reduction of 1.5 years, it comes from the landmark TRIM trial. This was the first clinical trial to provide concrete human evidence that, yes, biological age can actually be reversed. On average, the people in the study didn't just slow down their aging, they became biologically younger. And that result sent absolute shockwaves through the entire scientific community. And the TRIUM trial was really just the beginning. Today, a whole range of new interventions are being studied and used. We've got things called senolytics, which are basically drugs designed to clear out old, malfunctioning zombie cells. There's hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And there are even AI programs that can design the perfect nutritional plan for you based on your unique epigenetic profile. So this all brings us to our final and maybe the most important question. How is the science actually reshaping our world today, right now? Because this isn't just lab theory anymore. It's already having massive real-world impacts. Take insurance, for example. Actuaries are already looking at how to use these tests to set premiums. So imagine getting a big discount on your life insurance, not because of your birthday, but because you have hard data that proves you're a slow ager. It's happening. Or how about the supplement industry? The days of the generic one-size-fits-all multivitamin are numbered. We are now deep in the era of hyper-personalized nutrition. Your epigenetic clock can pinpoint specific inflammation markers, and then your supplements can be tailored to target exactly what your body needs to slow its pace of aging. And maybe the most powerful impact of all, this is revolutionizing medicine itself. Pharmaceutical companies can now use these clocks to find and recruit fast agers for their clinical trials. By doing that, they can see if a drug is working way faster. This kind of targeted approach is dramatically cutting down the time and the money it takes to get new anti-aging therapies out to the public. Ultimately, what all this means is that we are moving from a world where getting old was seen as a linear sentence of decline to a new world where it's viewed as a manageable biological process. Aging is no longer something that just happens to you. It's becoming something you can actively participate in, something you can influence. And honestly, that changes everything.